early 2026, 11 scientists working on nuclear weapons, UFO research, and advanced propulsion went missing or turned up dead within weeks of each other. The U.S. House of Representatives launched a formal investigation. Congress called it a national security threat. But the part nobody's talking about, the debunkers might have a more unsettling answer than the conspiracy theorists do. Folks, welcome back to the most alarming briefing you'll get all week. And I am personally offended that this story isn't on the front page of every newspaper on Earth. In early 2026, a wave of deaths and disappearances swept through a very specific slice of the American workforce. Scientists. Not random scientists, ones tied to nuclear programs, UFO investigation, classified defense research, advanced propulsion, and materials science. We're talking 11 confirmed cases, a list that kept growing, a formal letter from the House Oversight Committee to the Secretary of Defense, and a full-blown national media firestorm. The question on every table, is this a coordinated pattern or the world's most terrifying coincidence? Buckle up. We are going in. Here's what the official sources actually confirmed, and get a load of this because it's wild even before we add any theories. By the week of April 20, 2026, at least 11 U.S. scientists had died or disappeared, all working in fields including UFO research, nuclear weapons, military defense, and advanced propulsion systems. The list was still expanding as new deaths were retroactively folded in. House Oversight Committee Chair James Comer went on Fox News and stated bluntly, "Congress is very concerned about this. Our committee is making this one of our priorities now because we view this as a national security threat," adding there was a high possibility that something sinister is taking place here. Congressman Eric Burlison told Fox News the situation has all the hallmarks of a foreign operation, pointing fingers at China, Russia, or Iran as potential orchestrators. On April 20, 2026, the House Oversight Committee formally wrote to Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth, demanding answers. The letter specifically named a rocket scientist with ties to a missing Air Force general associated with UFOs, a nuclear fusion researcher, a pharmaceutical researcher, and a government contractor working at a nuclear weapons component facility. Among the named individuals, retired U.S. Air Force Major General William Neal McCaslin, who went missing on or around February 27, 2026, a figure previously linked to UAP unidentified aerial phenomena programs. Even famed physicist Michio Kaku weighed in publicly on the pattern, lending mainstream scientific celebrity weight to the conversation. The mainstream media, from Fox News to NBC Washington to News Nation, treated this as a legitimate national security story. The U.S. government responded with a formal investigation. That's the floor. That's the baseline before we even get weird. Now, here's where the serious analysts pump the brakes. And honestly, their explanation is almost more disturbing in its own way. Skeptic magazine published a detailed analysis during the week of April 20, 2026, laying out a clinical counter-argument. The core point: the category of scientist or researcher with some connection to classified, defense, or advanced research fields is enormous. The United States employs hundreds of thousands of people across nuclear facilities, defense contractors, aerospace firms, pharmaceutical labs, and government research programs. When you define the at-risk category broadly enough, deaths and disappearances within it become statistically inevitable, even in a short window. This is what statisticians call the Texas sharpshooter fallacy. You fire bullets at a barn wall, then draw the target around the bullet holes afterward. You pick the cases that fit a narrative, retroactively label the people scientists, and declare a pattern. The skeptic analysis noted that the definition of who counted as a scientist kept expanding, new names folded in precisely because they fit the emerging story. The Reddit skeptic community echoed this. No comprehensive theory had even been floated to explain how a coordinated elimination program would work, who specifically was giving orders, or what specific secret these 11 people shared that required silencing. Without a mechanism, critics argue, you don't have a conspiracy, you have confirmation bias wearing a lab coat. Critics also note that several of the disappearances had mundane explanations, missing persons cases that are tragically common in America, and that the UFO research link was often tenuous at best. A retired general associated with UAP programs by 1 degree of separation. That said, and I want to be clear about this, the skeptics are not saying nothing happened. They're saying the pattern recognition machinery of human psychology is running at full speed, and we should be careful before we call this a coordinated hit campaign. All right. I've got a guy. He's been in my ear about this for weeks. He's calm, he's done his homework, and frankly, he's starting to scare me. Talk to the people.
Happy to. Let's start with the timing. 11 scientists, multiple fields, all connected to either UFO research, nuclear programs, or advanced propulsion, all within a matter of weeks in early 2026. You want to call that coincidence? Fine, but look at the timing more carefully.
Okay, the timing. You cannot be serious that 11 people is enough to build a pattern on. My neighborhood loses people every month.
Your neighborhood isn't sitting on classified UAP retrieval data or nuclear weapons specifications. The question isn't raw numbers. The question is, who benefits from these specific people being gone at this specific moment in history?
Oh, who benefits? Here we go. Get a load of this, folks.
UAP Disclosure Act created enormous pressure on the government to reveal classified programs. Several people on this list were directly or indirectly connected to those programs. McCasland, a retired Air Force Major General, vanishes on February 27, 2026, months after UAP transparency hearings. That's not a coincidence I'm comfortable with.
So your theory is, the government is silencing its own whistleblowers. The government that can't keep anything secret.
I'm saying, follow the documents. The House Oversight letter to Pete Hegseth specifically names a contractor at a nuclear weapons component facility. Why is a weapons contractor on a UFO-adjacent missing persons list, unless the programs overlap? Which, and the documents actually show this, they do.
Oh, it gets better. Tell them the foreign adversary angle.
Congressman Burleson said it himself. All the hallmarks of a foreign operation. China, Russia, Iran. These aren't fringe commentators saying this. This is on the floor of Congress. If that's true, then a foreign intelligence service is actively hunting American scientists right now, and we're debating whether it's a coincidence.
You cannot be serious. A foreign cabal hunting scientists in America.
It's happened before. Soviet intelligence ran active programs targeting Western scientists throughout the Cold War. This isn't novel. What's novel is the scale, the speed, and the specific overlap with UAP research.
Okay, so we've got government silencing, foreign cabal, UAP cover-up. What else do you have in that tinfoil hat of yours?
The expanding list. Here's what nobody's asking. Why does the list keep growing? Every week, new names. That's not how organic disappearances work. Either someone is actively compiling evidence of a broader program, which means the pattern is real and deeper than reported, or someone is deliberately seeding the list to muddy the waters and make the whole thing look unserious. Both of those options are troubling.
Wait, you're saying the debunking itself could be part of it?
I'm saying, when a story is too easy to laugh at, ask who made it that way. Lumping in weak cases with strong ones is a classic way to discredit an entire investigation. The Texas sharpshooter argument works both ways.
I need to lie down.
One more, the nuclear fusion researcher, a pharmaceutical researcher, a rocket scientist. These aren't people who work in the same building. They don't go to the same conferences. What shared secret requires eliminating experts across 4 separate scientific domains simultaneously?
What secret indeed? And on that deeply unsettling note,
Documents are public. The letter is on the House Oversight website. Read it yourself. Here's where things get genuinely interesting, because mainstream, alternative, and conspiracy accounts actually agree on more than you'd expect. Everyone agrees the events happened. The deaths and disappearances are real, documented, and confirmed. Nobody is arguing the people don't exist. Everyone agrees the government took it seriously enough to act. House Oversight Committee's letter to the Secretary of Defense is a public document. Congress, both Republicans and Democrats, treated this as a national security matter. That's not fringe behavior. Where they diverge is on mechanism and meaning. The conspiracy camp says coordinated elimination, foreign intelligence, domestic deep state, or both, targeting people who know too much about UAP programs, nuclear tech, or classified energy research. Skeptic camp says confirmation bias, statistical inevitability, and an expanding definition of scientist that inflates the apparent pattern. The mainstream press sits in a fascinating middle ground, reporting it as a genuine national security concern while simultaneously acknowledging the evidentiary limits. The most intellectually honest position, represented by outlets like NBC Washington, treats the question as legitimately open, not settled in either direction. The sharpest unresolved tension, the skeptic argument, it's all base rate statistics, and the conspiracy argument, it's coordinated silencing, are both unfalsifiable with current public information. We simply do not have access to the classified files that would settle this one way or the other. And that, folks, is arguably the most disturbing fact of all. All right, here's what the evidence actually supports, and I'm going to be straight with you because I respect your intelligence. The pattern of deaths and disappearances is real and documented. The government's formal response, a House oversight letter to the Secretary of Defense, confirms officials considered it serious enough to act on. That is not nothing. However, Skeptic magazine analysis makes a powerful statistical point. The category of defense-adjacent scientist is so broad in America that deaths within it over any given month are mathematically expected. The expanding list, with its shifting definition of who qualifies, is a genuine red flag for confirmation bias. Foreign adversary angle is the most credible non-fringe explanation. Congressman Burleson's foreign operation claim aligns with known historical intelligence practices of hostile states targeting Western technical experts. But as of April 2026, no confirmed evidence of foreign coordination had been made public. The UFO angle remains the most speculative. McCaslin's connection to UAP programs is real. The inferential leap from UAP adjacent to silenced because of what he knew is exactly that, a leap, not a conclusion. What we can say with confidence, something statistically unusual enough happened in early 2026 to trigger a formal congressional investigation. Whether that something is a foreign intelligence operation, a tragic cluster of unrelated events, or a deliberate cover-up remains, as of now, genuinely unknown. The honest answer is, we don't know yet, and anyone who tells you they do is selling something. That's the Missing Scientists file, officially under investigation, unofficially wide open. Drop your theory in the comments, hit subscribe if you want the next classified briefing, and remember, the truth doesn't care if you believe it.